Howdy, 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 back at it again. Today's video is going to focus on 3 types of drills that I think you really need to implement in your training regimen if you're serious about improving in Street Fighter 6. Let's get into it. So the first type of drill is what I'm going to refer to as neutral drills, which is just what it sounds like. I'm going to have him walk around, pick some different options. So crouch medium kick, jump. Here I have crouch jab. To me, this is a stand-in for like do nothing. I switched to this because now I have to like delineate, okay, crouch jab versus crouch medium kick. Whereas if I just sort of have him go wiggle, 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 and then stop, I don't have to differentiate. So it forces me to react a little bit better or a little bit more intelligently. Good old DI, nothing beats it, except for another DI. Everybody's favorite mechanic, shout outs to IDOM. Drive rush. And then any sort of neutral skip. So for Ken, maybe that's heavy Dragon Lash, and you can practice, character-specific option, like Gladius. You can try to DI it on time. You can try to anti-air it. You can try to perfect parry it. Whatever. I mean, again, this could be Ken Dragon Lash. It could be Kim Teleport. It could be Dhalsim Teleport. Maybe you want to work on DIing Zangief's Charged Heavy Punch. I don't know. But the point is, any sort of neutral skip option, I would encourage you to do that. Usually, the 3 that I warm up with are Whiff Punish, jump, and then the do nothing option. If I click X on one of these, if I'm like, I would really want him to focus on, I really want to focus on whiffing that crouch medium kick, right? I can turn that up to 3 and then it happens more often is the idea, right? I'm like, I really want to focus on the crouch medium kick. I turn that up, and then what happens is I start focusing on this more, and maybe I make a couple mistakes. Right. You can also work on running Oki if you want to. Right. And then maybe I don't get an anti-air when I'm supposed to, right? Now, maybe you go, okay, I don't really care about that. I want to work on anti-airs, DI, and Dragon Lash. And I really want to work on DI. So I'm going to put this up to 3 or 4. Or if you really want to work on it, like, the higher you crank this number, the more often it'll appear. If you're like, I just want to work on DI a little bit more, or I want to work on DI and jump a little bit more, and I just want to kind of have the Dragon Lash in there as an option, you okay, cool. I'm going to practice this. Right? Ooh, no, I DI'd the jump because I'm not thinking. Right? Nice thing about Marisa is if I really was trying to practice this, I would maybe just say, okay, I'm just going to try to Gladius all of them. I'm just going to play in the range where I can Gladius the jump. 2. And then Gladius is my response to all of them, so you can sort of cheat things that way. If you're like modern and modern DP is really good against a bunch of different options, or DI is really good against a bunch of options, you can sort of cheat it, or not cheat it, just sort of help yourself out. But that's the idea, right? If you're not doing this, I certainly would recommend so. I used to be very bad at this. When I first started doing these drills, I'd just be throwing this out all the time. I'd find myself guessing like that, where I'd throw it super early or I would miss an anti-air. Now, I'm a lot better at getting the whiff punishes and still getting the anti-air kind of automatically. So again, if you're not doing this, highly suggest you incorporate this into your offense, because the alternative is to go, Ken just gets Dragon Lash, it's just for free, and it's not. If you practice reacting the right way, you can DP it, you can DI it, you can anti-air it. It's not free, right? Kim Teleport, not free. Dhalsim Teleport, not free, right? There are very few what I would consider like real neutral skips in this game. DJ Drive Rush. But that's, so you really don't have an excuse. You can either complain, hold it, or just get better. Before we get to the next type of drill, I just want to say, if you like this type of content, if you want to see more of it, leave a like in the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to grow it, and I'd really appreciate your support. Without further ado, let's get into drill 2. So the second type of drill that I want to look at is off of like this crouch medium kick, drive rush into jab, right? Which sets up your strike throw shimmy game. Now, yes, you can work on like, what are my frame trap options and what are my conversions off of those options and things like that. But what I really want to focus on is not just autopiloting into buttons, because that can happen and it's really bad if it does, right? So it's like, oh, I had him in +3, I just spent 3 bars of drive gauge, and then he walked back and now I get whiff punished because I just pushed this button because I thought he was going to delay tech. not very good, right? So what I want to do is I want to have an option where he does nothing. This can either just be do nothing or walk backwards. I want to have delay tech set up, right? So that I can work on reacting to the attack. And then I also like to have neutral jump. Maybe it's just because I play Marisa and people are afraid of the command grab. You know, they don't want to get scooped, so they jump a little bit more, right? But I think that having something where you can go, okay, he jumped, anti-air, just giving yourself something more to look for is always good. So I set these up. He jumps, I anti-air. He jumps, I anti-air. And I'm no good at DPs on reaction, so excuse me. He walks back, I do nothing. He attacks, I push the wrong button, that's fine. Right? But the idea is, I'm reacting and doing the appropriate option based on what he does. I'm not leaving it up to face. I'm not just going to walk back and hit heavy punch and hope. Right? I'm going to go, okay, what did he do? What things can I push? Right? I'm talking and not paying attention, so I'm making mistakes. But that's the idea, right? And you sort of practice curtain inverting into a combo or whatever, right? And every character can do that. A lot of Shotos, this is going to be heavy punch, right? Kimberly, it's heavy punch. If you think, yeah, 9 frames, you know, 9 frames and throws are 30 frames, so that gives me 21 frames to actually see the throw and push the button. And if you think that that's, you know, a lot, you know, a lot of characters will have something like Terry does in his crouch medium punch, where on punish counter, they'll have a medium that can go into a big combo and you'll lose a little bit of damage. But I would encourage you look for the fastest button that gives you a really good reward on punish counter. That's what I would say. Fast buttons with good range that give you good reward, because you're going to give yourself the maximum time to see it, right? Give yourself the maximum time to see it, and then also still get a good combo. And I'm not anti-airing because I'm just thinking about pushing crouch medium punch too much. You can also maybe do crouch heavy, whatever. So that's the idea, okay? That's drill number 2. On to drill number 3. Okay, so drill number 3 is going to focus on these sort of offensive spacing trap sequences. Okay, so especially in the corner, because I don't like to think about them just being able to walk back, right? If I were to do the same thing mid-screen, right, which is like from this range, puts me -3 on block-ish, right? If I were to do like this and go, okay, a -4, he has to push, he has to whatever. Like, no, he doesn't have to feel like he can fight out. They'll just walk backwards, right? They'll just go to screen space, go back to neutral. In the corner, that's not necessarily the case. So I want to work on, okay, what are my drills that I can really do? What are the things I can really do to practice here? So first things first, I like this, right? Spacing trap. What I mean when I say spacing trap is a lot of the buttons they're going to think they should push will whiff. Okay, so for example, crouch medium kick will whiff here. You know, so they'll either be like, oh, I'm going to throw a slower button, which is no good because I'm not that minus, right? So we can just buffer and beat it. And then if they go for a faster button, it's out of range and we can whiff punish it, right? And that's the idea, okay? So I've got crouch medium kick and do nothing, right? So I'm only going to do this if I see him whiff. I'm only going to push if I see him whiff. And then the other thing that I have here is this, is a jump. So that if I push that fierce, I'm just not thinking. I go, oh, he moved. I push stand heavy punch. I'm rewarding him and he's getting out of the corner. So what I want to do is I want to try to anti-air that with like crouch heavy punch maybe, or a DP. That was bad. But, and then I want to try to react to the low forward, right? So that's one thing I can do. I can go, okay, I'm going to do this. And if he pushes, I'm going to whiff punish, and if he jumps, I'm going to DP, right? But this can be kind of difficult, right? So something else you can do, if you're like, yeah, this is tough, is you can come up with tack instead, and you go, okay, what's something that I can do that will catch all of it, right? Well, I can do something like this. right, into Tatsu, or... So what I'm doing here is I'm doing delay. It's supposed to be into... I'm supposed to be pushing kicks, right, into something like this, and I can get reward off of it and whatever. Or, if he jumps and I do the same sequence, I should still have time to DP. So the idea here is I just always do the same sequence where I delay this, and then, right, now I'm just mashing it, but the idea is I delay the crouch or the stand medium punch, and then if he pushes, I get the whiff punish, and if he jumps, I get the DP. So you can also sort of just try to develop tech. I'm more of a fan of the trying to react side of things, but that's just where you come down on it. But I think, again, practicing your sequences where you're like, okay, I did this. My frame trap didn't work. He didn't push. He didn't get hit by it. What do I do now? They blocked. What do I do now? Well, the answer is usually it's like just wait and see, right? And if they just keep doing this, right, they just keep doing nothing, yeah, then we can, you know, get cheeky. Then we can walk up, you know, and do slower stuff and do plus normals and do crap like this, right? For example, right, I'm going to go to Marisa now to really show it off. Marisa has this really good spacing trap with towards heavy kick into Gladius. So you might meet with this, right? So she might get a knockdown in the corner, block out first hit. You know, you do something like this, and you do dash up towards heavy kick into Gladius, right? You go, okay, if they get hit by this, I know exactly what to do. Because if they get hit by this, right, I can cancel into level 3 maybe, right? Or I get Oki, you know, I can maybe force a guess, whatever, right? But if they block it, what do I do now, right? And this is the same idea, right? I can set up the situation where, like, okay, I react with crouch medium kick, I react to the whiff crouch medium kick with crouch medium punch, and get big damage. I can cash that out for over 7k if I want to. And then I'm going to anti-air him to jump out, right? And so my default position is just I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wait, right? And they're going to do something stupid. They're going to try to jump. They're going to try to whiff, you know, and I just need to react to what they're doing. And if I notice that they just love to sit here, well, then I can, you know, I can go for it again. Or I can drive rush cancel and, you know, go for mix or whatever. But the idea is after we end an offensive sequence, let's pause and let's actually try to play Street Fighter. Let's just try to react to stuff. Okay? Let's not play guessies. Okay? This isn't poker. We don't have to make reads all the time. Okay? You don't have to go, I think he's on this hand. No. You can go, okay, he's sitting here. I'm sitting here. He's in the corner. All the pressure's on them right now. Right? All the pressure's on them right now. Because they got to think about, well, what if I drive rush? What if I DI? Right? What if I just charge one of these? They're going to think perfect parry. They're going to think DI back. They're going to want to jump out. They want out of the corner. Okay? And if your character does a throw loop, they really want out of the corner, let me tell you. Right? So just trying to go, okay, I'm just going to sit here and hang out. And I'm going to see what they like to do. And I'm going to react. And if they whiff, they're going to pay for it. If they jump, they're getting knocked down. And I think doing stuff like that is so much more powerful than just going, I'm just going to do a spacing trap. So this is anecdotal a little bit, but this also works as a spacing trap. But you just get dinged if they do it, right? Like I can do this auto timed and I can just mash it and they just get exploded. But if they jump, I just get melted, right? So I think it's really important that, hey, we try to react, we drill it out, we try to come up with options, and we figure out what we can do. Hopefully this is helpful. As always, have a good time.